All right, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock. My name is Penny, and I'm delighted to be the service leader today for our pastor, the Reverend Susan Moseley. She will speak with us today about memories, hopes, and dreams. The UUFR is a caring community whose mission is to put UU principles into practice through programs that empower spiritual exploration, critical thinking, and social service, and to provide a spiritual home for all generations. Whoever you are, whomever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and whatever your life circumstance, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning in person and via Zoom, welcome home. A special welcome to any first-time visitors. We invite you to stay for refreshments and celebrations and sadness after the service.
Oh no.
You don't have to. If you are on Zoom, please mute yourself. If you're here in person, please silence your cell phones if you haven't done so already. Thank you. I decided to go with the theme of gratitude quotes as part of my gratitude for Susan's ministry, and thank you, Jim, last week for the reminder, for the words that I get to share with y'all here today. To lead the parade, I have the following from the UUFR Food and Philosophy Cookbook. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. And today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. I'm glad you like that. Announcements are in your bulletin, but I would also like to remind you that beginning this Tuesday, March the 5th, Buddy Spencer will be hosting Coffee and Conversation at the local in Irvington. It will be on Tuesday mornings, starting this week and going forward. We're gathering today in this sacred space we light the flame, for the opportunity to be together in community, to remember the past, to plan for our future, and to be alive in our present. Our opening words today are from Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Thank you, Susan, for many of those flames. All right, we're going to have a song, Gather the Spirit, number 347 in your songbook. Please stand as you are willing and able.
Sacrifice.
joys and concerns. Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this moment to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. If you would like, you may come forward and place a piece of sea glass in the water and share a joy or sorrow. Or if you prefer to share from where you are, I can put a piece of sea glass in the water for you. And you get to use this microphone. Yes, Don?
I just wanted to say I have a joy. I went to see my surgeon and they showed me x-rays of my back and it looks like fins. But I asked him if I could go swimming and he said no. I can't understand. What's that?
Thank you, Don.
Lancaster County people know that there was an article in the Rap Record about Susan and Jim leaving the area. It was on the obituary page.
Well, I've got my tissue today. Susan, when I saw you this morning, I said how much I liked the color that you're wearing today. It almost matches the color of the seats we've been gathering in for at least 5 years. It also matches the blue in the UU banner. It also matches the fabrics that bring us joy. Sorry, that bring us joy every Sunday. Oh, Susan, by the way, it matches the color of this basket. And I need to let you and Jim know that you can't find sea glass in Brevard, North Carolina. So do you mind if I switch out the basket for sea glass to something different and send you and Jim on your way with the very basket that carried all of our joys and concerns. And you and Jim can begin filling the same basket once in North Carolina with your own joys and concerns.
Glad you didn't tell me about that beforehand. All right.
No, I don't think so. I think I can speak loud enough. I just want to say I have 3 joys to report. My sister was diagnosed with endometrial cancer, mistaken. She doesn't have it. My cousin was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she's gone through the treatment and feels great. So she's into that 5-year mode now. And I had that horrible surgery on my neck, going down to my upper back, and it's been very hard adjusting, but I'm pleased to report I'm getting better. The headaches are going away and the muscles don't hurt all the time, so yes.
My concern, for those of you who don't know, Marilyn Jerkoff's husband passed away this past week. He had been ill for quite a long time. But please remember her in your thoughts, and I'm sure she'd appreciate a card or a call.
So mine is a joy that we're going to have our egg hunt here on the 23rd on a Saturday at noon. And I really, none of the kids team can help with that because of other commitments. So I really am hoping some people will step forward and let me know that you can help. We had kids from the neighborhood, which has been our goal since I've been here, to meet the neighborhood, and they have come. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you can help in any way, let me know. Thank you.
I can't just sit there in the hot seat and not tell you my joy of having been with you for 5 years. And I'm taking you with me. And isn't it strange how your joy is also your sorrow? And I'm really going to try to hold it together today. So send me energies for no sobbing. But I do have a joy that I take you with me.
That's it for today?
No.
No.
And of course, I didn't tell you about this either.
No, you didn't. Are we going to get a reprise of what you did before? Want me to hold it?
This is Susan's and Jim's song. This is what they've given us as a community. And it's just really important.
We haven't done that at the Presbyterian Church.
I'm on my way.
Change the world.
May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. I put this piece of sea glass into the water to represent all of our unspoken joys and sorrows. Susan, you have a reading?
My reading today is from John O'Donoghue, who is a teacher and poet from Ireland. He's no longer living, but he has written many beautiful things, and a book that I have that was given to me when I left Wilmington called To Bless the Space Between Us. And he has many poems about relationship and movement in our lives, and so many of them seem to fit, but I chose one called A Blessing of Angels. May the angels in their beauty bless you. May they turn toward you streams of blessing. May the angel of awakening stir your heart to come alive to the eternal within you, to all the invitations that quietly surround you. May the angel of healing turn your wounds into sources of refreshment. May the angel of the imagination enable you to stand on the true thresholds, at ease with your ambivalence, and drawn in new directions through the glow of your contradictions. May the angel of compassion open your eyes to the unseen suffering around you. May the angel of wildness disturb the places where your life is domesticated and safe, take you to the territories of true otherness where all that is awkward in you can fall into its own rhythm. May the angel of Eros introduce you to the beauty of your senses, to celebrate your inheritance as a temple of spirit. May the angel of justice disturb you to take the side of the posts of the poor and the wronged. Let me read that one more time. May the angel of justice disturb you to take the side of the poor and the wronged. May the angel of encouragement confirm you in worth and self-respect, that you may live with the dignity that presides in your soul. May the angel of death arrive only when your life is complete and you have brought every given gift to the threshold where its infinity can shine. May all the angels be your sheltering and joyful guardians. May it be so.
Our speaker today is our pastor, Susan Moseley. I had the great honor to be Susan's service leader when she was ordained as a UU minister on October the 31st, 2021, in the UUFR parking lot during COVID restrictions. I imagine many of you remember. The weather and the ceremony were both beautiful. I'm very grateful to be her service leader again today. UUFR marks a special chapter in Susan's pastoral journey, as it is the first congregation she has guided, and she was our first pastor. Today she will lead us in a discussion of memories, hopes, and dreams, a conversation in the round, as we reminisce about 5 years of shared ministry and dream together about all of our hopes for the future. And please don't hold the microphone too close to your face. It hurts my ears.
Thank you. So I asked that this time, this last Sunday, be a time that we could be talking together and reflecting on our time together. And since I'm in this seat, I go first. And this is one of those rare moments when I don't have notes. Very dangerous. But bear with me. So I wanted to start by just kind of going back to the beginning. And I know many of you have heard me kind of tell that story many times, so I'm not going to retell the story. But if I was going to retell the story, I would say that the first time I ever walked in these doors, I was greeted by such love. I mean, so many people came up and welcomed Jim and me, and that was the first inkling that this was a cool place. And then I wasn't going to, tell the whole story, but if I was, I would say that, open it, because you've heard this so many times, but I have to say it again. The first time that I opened the bulletin cover and saw the principles and I was reading them, and holy cow, this is my kind of place. And so we kept coming here when would visit our house that we had built down here in 2011. So I guess I've been coming here for almost 10 years. And, well, now, see, I forgot what I was going to say. But don't worry, it'll come back. This happens all the time. Oh, I know what it was. So, you all asked Jim to speak a couple of times during that time before we moved down here. And I think I spoke once. You know, y'all are always asking, please, somebody speak, be a speaker. So we did that. And then I remember sitting in my, on the sofa in my home in Wilmington when we knew that we were going to be moving down here permanently and living in our house. It was an odd kind of move because we weren't ready to retire yet. And Jim knew that he was going to be serving another Presbyterian church, and I said, well, what am I going to do? I'm not ready to retire yet either. And Jim was the one who said to me, well, you know, UUFR is looking for a minister. And I sat up and thought, oh, really? And the reason he knew and I didn't was that y'all had already asked him, would you?
He was taken.
Yeah, darn. Second best, though, is sometimes really good. So he was the one that told me, and I just, oh man, I got right on that resume and sent it to Bob Weekly, and the rest is history. So for me, it was meant to be. And then one other thing that I'm going to share as part of my story, and then we'll start sharing together, and I'll have more to say, but you know. Anyway, when I knew that this place was really going to let me be me was the 1st December. I guess I started in June, and that December, Hank Stupi always had a sing-along at Christmas. And he said, I want you to do, so I said, I don't sing in public. And he said, oh no, you got something. Well, I did, and I sang it, and you didn't boot me out. It was the 5 Constipated Men of the Bible. And I had more fun. I knew that y'all were going to be okay. If you could listen to that and not be too distressed.
Encore.
But anyway. So those were my earliest memories, and I have so many good ones. But I would love to hear from you all some of your reflections on what this place has meant to you, and I would love to hear some of your hopes for the future. So.
Susan, I always enjoyed the connections, especially the jokes. Because you are a funny person, and I pass them on to many, many people. Thank you for that. I hope that the new person, is it you?
Yeah, right there.
Are you funny? You better be.
No pressure there, Jeff.
Let me take that. I've only been here for 6 months, less than a year, but I was drawn in by your heart, your graciousness, your enthusiasm for everything. Last week, Jim talked about the gratitude that you have in life, and that shows everywhere. And the connections is your legacy. You're connecting all of us together through the heart of yours. You connect us to ourselves. You connect us to our animals, the blessings that you do. And it's amazing. And the clubs and all that stuff that we go to, that just drives deeper into connections that we have. So the first issue I'm doing of Connections is going to be a celebration of your legacy with Connections.
I will get to all of you, unless Susan pulls the plug.
I'll try to get this microphone right. I discovered this fellowship when we were moving here about 3 years ago, and I was concerned that I would only find conservative Christian churches that I was trying to escape from my childhood. And I came across the website and the principles, like you mentioned, Susan, and thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe this exists where we're moving. And when we started coming, Susan and I think got together for coffee, and I realized how you provided a place for me to really lay out all of my deepest questions and struggles and traumas. And you really helped me just say, it's okay, whatever you believe is okay, and whatever you're not sure about is okay. And I took most of last year off of coming because I was going through cancer treatment last year, and this fellowship showed up and walked my dog and brought me food, and Susan sat by, with flowers and notes. And I'm happy to be back today, but I just want to say that what you created here, Susan, as the leader, has really resonated, even when I'm not here. It's really like I've felt the love that you've really created here. And I really feel like I'm in a different spiritual place because of our conversations and your just willingness to be a really gentle ear and a really accepting ear for me. So thank you. We're going to miss you.
Susan, you hadn't been here very long before I got a phone call. And I thought, for me? Well, girls haven't called me in a long, long time. I used to be handsome. But I was very surprised. And I want to say thank you because you brought me out of my shell and helped me get more used to being in the UU and in the neighborhood. And I've enjoyed every moment of it. I hope that we'll see you again sometime and enjoy the company. And anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, you told me that I was your first pastoral visit when you got here. And we had a very long, very detailed discussion, and yet you stayed.
And came back.
All right.
I can only say that you are not the second best.
As an older member of the church, and you take that both ways, I'm with Jim. I do not like change. I fight it all the time, and yet it still happens. So when we talked about hiring a part-time pastor, I was not for it at all, because I liked the fact that we had a different speaker every week. And I thought maybe a pastor would take us back to more of a church scenario. However, it didn't take long to know that that wasn't going to be the case, and it didn't take long to know that you were our gift.
So I'm not going to lighten it up too much. I just wanted to say I'm not a real, I've never been known as a real sharer or so much as allow yourself to be vulnerable in front of people. But you helped me through the very worst time of my life. And I don't know what I would have done without you, so thank you very much.
My next most interesting encounters with Susan was about a year or so later, the board decided they wanted to send some people to Moseley, which is a Southern UU leadership experience. And Susan and I volunteered to go, and we both registered, and we were going through the process and realizing that they were going to put us in sort of a dorm room together. And for those of you who don't know, I'm an introvert. I have to have my alone time. When I travel with my sister, we get separate rooms. So I was trying to figure out, how do I tell our new minister that I really don't want to room with her? But when I finally decided to do it, she had this great big smile on her face, and she says, I really don't want to room with you either. Because she's an introvert also.
Today is your day, darling. Well, I thought, let's break it up a little bit. But I was very relieved. I like my own room. I just want to say, and I still want to hear more, but you all are so sweet. You're saying things to me, and I appreciate that so much. I also want to hear about you. But I think one of the things that I really want to say is that I, and I've said this to a few people personally, and this is in no way taking away from myself. Please hear this clearly. I'm proud of what I have done and been, and all that you have allowed me to do and be. But I'm one person. I have some gifts and some weaknesses. I've taken you where I can. I haven't even taken you, but I've been with you in the best way that I knew how. But this fellowship is amazing, and it's ready to pop open, and it's ready. You all are ready for a new leader, somebody who can do more in the way of the kinds of things that I wasn't as good at, the administrative leadership. I'm not good. And the rallying for justice and the work that needs to be done. I love that. I want that for you all. I was better at the one-on-one coffee and conversation, but it's time. It's time for your next leader. And I want to say too that how wonderful it is to see so many of you that I haven't seen in quite a while. And if they're, let me think the best way to say this, this really is the most open-hearted, open-minded, inclusive community on the Northern Neck and Middle Peninsula. And if you can't find community, belonging, and a place to explore your own spirituality, if you can't do it here, you can't do it anywhere. I mean, there are lovely churches and lovely communities, but this one's unique. And so I just want to, I won't have a chance to say this again, so I'm gonna say it now. And that is, please, if you haven't, identified yourself with this community, give it a try, because it is remarkable. And the more of you there are, the more powerful this place. And I'm looking forward to hearing great stories about what you're doing in this community. And I feel proud that I got to be part of that and to love you in this, your transition into having a minister. But you're now ready to pop. So I can't wait to hear the stories.
Susan, you said that you felt like this was a place where you were meant to be. Well, ditto. I mean, this place, was meant to be here for you. And we're very, very grateful. And this place means a lot to me. I came here in 2009, and I just did an intake at the Community Services Board with the counselor so I could see the psychiatrist, because I was in bad shape. And the person, after we talked, said, "So you're mad at God?" And I said, yes. And so I knew about this place, so I said, well, I need to go and find some spiritual peace. And I'm still working on that, but so this place means a lot to me, and you being here has meant a lot to me. And I'm sure what you say is true, that spirit, we're going to keep it alive, and we'll find someone that was meant to be here.
Hi, Susan. I have been, although I'm in your building every week, I haven't been a regular here with the congregation, but I did have a chance. Kelly asked me to speak last year, and so I've talked a little bit about my story. But the reason I'm here, and the only reason I'm here, is because of you, because I met you socially at Lisa's house one night, and you just you were just so delightful and so insistent that we get together. The last few years have been tumultuous for me, and I wasn't sure after a transition that I would be able to find a place that I could be comfortable and with whom the congregation could be comfortable with me. And UU has proven to be that place, and I give you and the congregation all the credit for that. But thank you for reaching out to me. It's made a big difference to me. Thank you.
I love you, Susan. And you too, Jim. I know. And you, 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 yes, you. And this is what you've created, Susan. I moved, I started living out here in 1996, and then I went around the world, and I would come back and go back, and for me, it was that thing about coming into Red America and being very fearful. Just like Red America is afraid to go into the cities, and they're very fearful. We have our projections. And in 2018, when I got high-speed internet, I brought the dogs from Richmond, and we moved out here. And I never knew UU was here all that time. Like you, I couldn't imagine coming out to this place and like there being someplace cool like this. And Susan, I met you. And you sparkled. And to me, you are perfect You are critical, like we all are, of ourselves, but those are stories inside of our heads. And what you do, what you're leaving behind, and I love to think about as I travel through the world, what's the energy I leave behind? And you leave love. And you leave who you are. And with the foibles and everything, which is perfect, because we all have that. And we're moving away from the one story about what we should be like, which is why you couldn't be a Presbyterian minister. and so you have nurtured that for me here. And I have found a home. And I found lots of people who I love right here. And so to me, I think about what you said in terms of your term here. And I've worked with lots of organizations for long periods of time. And I have loved watching the transition to different kinds of leaders that are needed at different times in the development of an organization. And so your suggestion, as hard and difficult, and you know me, I'm kind of like to look at the bright side. I had a dream about this today, and you know, and you're a union, you love dreams, I know that. And I was getting chairs, and the chairs were up in the rafters, and I got stuck there. And I wasn't able to finish getting the chairs, and I realized that was my sadness, that I wasn't allowing to come out. And for me, for us, and Jim shared it last week, to be able to both be in the joy, the paradox, because this is fifth dimensional process, be in a paradox, be in joy and be in sadness, be in hope and fear, and hold them simultaneously. And to me, you've set the place and the circumstances where the church now has the opportunity. We knew many of the networks out there who were working on consciousness, that's my world, the expansion of consciousness, indigenous people and all researchers and scientists, that 2017 to 2024 was going to be the darkest part of the storm on the planet. You have carried us through that. And that has been your real gift to us. And now things are opening. And the time for us, all of us, to step forward wherever we're at. It's not about going and doing things that aren't in our sphere of control or influence. It's about all of us taking action wherever we're at, for heart, for love, because that is the energy that will transform the planet and our consciousness. So thank you for being the shepherd, the herald, the midwife for us to go through this process.
All right, who wants to top that?
I don't know about topping it, but one of my favorite memories of a conversation that Susan and I had together was the joy that this community gave us. We talked about how you felt like you had little bubbles inside of you, and it was a Mary Poppins kind of feeling. And this place really does bring a lot of joy. I am sad. I have to say, I was one of those little angry people at first, thinking, damn, she's leaving us. But I do know that there is a lot of joy in this community. There's a lot of love in this community. And I still, somebody asked me if I was an extrovert one time, because I get here and I'm just like, because it just, the feeling in this building, in this community is just so wonderful. I mean, that's not even a good word. There's a better word than that, but I think you all know what I'm talking about.
All right, I'm using my hands so I can keep track.
Susan, thank you. So I'm sad, obviously.
But I'm so excited that you two are moving to my favorite place on the planet. And the only reason I'm not in your suitcases with you is for my own 8 grandchildren. Otherwise, I know where your house is. I know where that church is. I would be in Brevard in a snap. It is the coolest, most wonderful mountain place ever. So you all will be visited.
Just to add to that, I think you should all take a trip.
I can't get y'all in the house.
There are lots of Airbnbs. We've been in them.
We can sleep up together.
I just wanted to say that I'm not a church person, and my family is still freaked out a little bit that I'm going to church. I'm like, what? And I'm like, it's okay, Mom, it's like witches with clothes on. When I walked in the door and I went into the RE room and I saw quotes from Rocky Horror Picture Show on the wall, I thought, wow, this is pretty progressive. But I really want to appreciate you for allowing us to fly our flags, because I feel completely free to be who I am here, and that's a big part because of you. And the rest of it is because of the rest of you guys. And we're going to keep making that happen for everybody that comes in here.
So, I'll start with saying something nice to you, because that's easy. And I absolutely share this man's, I just love you, you're fantastic as a person. And I think that Joseph Campbell, towards the end of his life, in an interview, someone asked the question, what difference can one person make, really, anyway? And he said, the world is a wasteland. One person shining a bright light. It's inestimable what a difference they can make. And to me, this has been a part of your journey, but it seems like you've been a bright light for a long time. And Bedford, North Carolina, is it? What's Brevard. Okay, I'm sorry. I've clearly never been there, don't know about it. But they're going to be lucky to have you and Jim and the light you bring. And I wanted to do a future wish for the community here after you leave as well. That I think, when I first heard Susan's leaving, I'm like, okay, I'm bouncing. Out of here. This is what drew me here. But I think there are a lot of people I've become close to and really care about in this community over the last year that I've been here. And my focus would be, yes, if we want to get another minister, that's great. But as a leadership chair, I'm really going to ask that rather than just looking for one leader to kind of guide us, as a group we come together and everyone give what they have. I was super happy to have that Jeff is starting to jump in with the technology and bring something different.
Still learning all the technology, but we'll have it cleared out before.
And, I just think more people getting involved is really the key. So if anyone wants to get involved, have an individual conversation with me and let's figure out what you can bring and give. Because everyone I've pretty much talked to here has a lot to bring and give.
Yay, you.
Any more? Yes.
So, I totally second the idea for a road trip. Yeah, I'm there. Susan used a word this morning earlier that is a very, very special word for me. I use it sparingly in my life. But when I say it, I mean it. Susan, you are remarkable.
I want to join in. What's your name?
Hugo.
Hugo. So the world is changing from the hierarchy to distributed networks. Authority is shifting. This is the shift of the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. And the old model of having a leader versus shared leadership is, and I so agree, and part of your legacy, Susan, is you have cultivated this, which now allows us to take advantage of all of us who have, and we all have gifts. How do we take advantage of those as part of the way we operate? Thanks.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. I hesitate to name names because I would forget some, but the leaders in this congregation are remarkable. They are, starting with you. We are so blessed, so fortunate to have Janet at the helm, and oh my goodness, I would love to go around and name every person, but I just don't dare and forget one, because everybody here has given so much, and it's working, and so thank you, Janet.
And I think Hugo gave a real good entry to something that Kelly and I have been working on, that you will be seeing in a week or so, is a skills and interest inventory that we're going to ask everybody to fill out, so we can see what you're interested in doing, or what kind of skills you might have to bring to the organization. So we are certainly headed down the path of having leaders of all of you.
And if we had a soundboard, things would be better.
There goes another one of those fabulous leaders in this. She's done everything there is to be done.